corporate policy, it's restaurant policy, it's our manager's policy, it's our policy. I don't care what your policy is. I care that my pizza's not cooked right, it tastes like cardboard, I care that my steak is overcooked, my chicken is undercooked. I don't care. Don't give me any excuses. So think about that when you're talking to people. Sometimes you just have to, just to put it nicely, you gotta suck it up. You gotta take the blame and the ownership for what you did. You can't blame anybody. Oh, it's not my fault, right? It's not my fault. Tomatoes are out of stock, or the tomato crop is bad. Well, you should have some alternative. Or taking those menus off, the menu items off the menu, right? I was reading today about a Mother's Day where somebody was went into a restaurant and they had a prefix menu, but 3/4 of the items from the menu were missing. They were sold out. They were like, what does that tell you? You never go back to that restaurant because they don't know it, right? So it's management. It's all one big thing,
I
right?
went to a restaurant in Providence, and they were doing they were supposed to be doing a lobster, like a clam bake. So they give you a list on a separate menu. So you're looking at it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have the lobster. Maybe. Oh, we're all out of lobster. Okay, I'll go to the next side. So I'll pick another one. Oh, we're all out of that too. I'm like, at this point, lady, just order something for me. Hopefully it's in.
How do you avoid that as a server?
You can tell them right when they sit down, like, I'm so sorry, but tonight these items are not available on the menu.
Right. And what's the best way to tell somebody that something's not available on the menu? What do we use in the restaurant? It's been 86. So if I walk up to a guest and I say, I'm sorry, but we 86 salmon today, do you think they care about that lingo? No, but if I tell them that we sold out of the salmon, what does that sound like?
I should come back and get it again.
Because it must be really good. We sold out of it and it's only 7 o'clock, right? So just that change of those two little words, that sold out versus we're out of, makes all the difference in the world, in the perception that you get from the guest, right? Make sense? All right. Busy. I used to have a big sign in my office that said, busy is not an excuse, busy is the goal. So if I ever had a server or a kitchen line cook or anybody who came up to me and said, I couldn't get to them, I was so busy. And I would say, well, thank you for working here. I appreciate the hard work that you put in, but you're no longer needed. Because busy is the goal, right? The ideal of any restaurant is that you open the door and every table is filled from the time you open until the time you leave. It doesn't happen in a lot of places, maybe Foxwoods. It doesn't happen in a lot of places, but it's always the goal, right? I want to be as busy as I can possibly be. So if I use that as an excuse, I'm never going to attain that goal. I'm not even going to come close. So busy should never be an excuse, especially to a guest, right? You're going to get guests that there's nothing you can do to make them happy. That would be a perfect example. When I was first starting out at Bertucci's, I was working up at the Canton, Massachusetts restaurant. And it was my first night as a solo manager, and it was Monday, the slowest night of the week in the restaurant. Well, Bertucci's decided in order to increase business on a Monday night, they would run a special. For $9.99, all you could eat, you got chicken, sausage, meatballs, and pasta. And you could have it as much as you want. And it was a fairly new campaign, hadn't been advertised a lot. So here I am, I'm all psyched, ready to go. It's my first Monday night, and the Sharon High School football team came in, all 30 members. And guess what they all ordered?
$9.99.
Guess how many people I had at my saute station? And I was fresh out of training, and I still didn't really know the difference between parsley and basil. When I started, I knew nothing. So I was no help. I kind of just stood there and was like, what do I do? So I have a guest who comes up to me, and he's a regular. Not a friendly guy, but I know he's a regular. And he starts swearing at me because he can't get a table on a Monday night. Well, I'm sorry, but the football team came in and they took up, a major part of the dining room. And so he decides he's going to order carryout. Well, here's a hint for you people. If the restaurant's busy, carryout's not going to be any faster, right? It never works. People always think that it's smarter to go to carryout. Carryout's going to be behind whatever's going on into the dining room. So he decides to order the glass that was covering to the dust hole, and got in between the two of us because he thought the guy was gonna kill me. He was that angry. The guy that jumped didn't speak a word of English. He didn't understand the word that was being said. He just knew from the expressions on the face. I paid the guy's bill. I got him his food, got him out the door, and I thought, oh, I never see him again. So guess what comes in the mail the next day? In the email, 2-page, all caps, about what an idiot I am, how I don't know anything, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I have to respond to my boss, and I write this, I'll never welcome in my restaurant again. I came from downtown. We didn't care about people like that. They sent him a gift certificate for $50. They invited him back. When he came back, he was to call and we would supervise his visit personally. I was so mad, and I just couldn't believe that they would do this to me. But guess what? The guy still goes to the restaurant because they recovered it. I did a terrible job, but they recovered it. It's all about the recovery, right? So, how do you feel about testing the waters here? You think you can do it? What's the first thing you're gonna do?
Apologize.
Okay, first
Introduce yourself.
introduce yourself. Okay, so you're gonna introduce yourself and then apologize and then what's the action you're gonna take?
Make it right.
Whatever it does to make it right. Okay, so let's pull out our dining room table over here, get some help, and maybe we can throw a couple of chairs. Let's do 4 chairs just because we have 4 seats, but I think most of them are going to use. All right, and so what I have different scenarios. We're going to do one at a time, and somebody's going to be the guest, and somebody's going to be the manager. So if the one guest is who's going to talk, but 4 of you sit at the table. So who wants to start out with the manager? Who thinks they can do this? You'll go? All right, here's the manager. Who wants to be the guest? All right, so why don't you have a seat, and then when she's finished, we'll talk about what worked and what didn't, okay? So read your thing so you know what you need to do. Have any questions? No, don't read it to them. She just give her a chance to read hers so she can decide how she's going to respond to you. Okay?
Hello, my name is Anna. I'm the general manager at Women's Club. Sorry.
Can you speak a little bit louder, Anna?
So I found this lovely piece of hair in my food. I'm very sorry about that. What can I do to fix it?
And I have a free drink, and I don't want another salad for you.
Would you like to see anything else on the menu? Maybe pasta or something from another section?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Just get it ready for you.
Thank you very much.
And I'll get this out of your way. And I'm very sorry about that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good job. All right, what's the manager right?
She said that she was sorry.
She said she was sorry.
She introduced
She
herself.
introduced herself as the general manager. What else? She was very empathetic. She offered her something else, but she did something really key, that I didn't tell you to do, but you were absolutely right. She did. She had a hair in her food, right? She took her plate away from her. If somebody has a complaint about food, especially if there's a foreign object in the food, once you've acknowledged it, you've seen it, grab the plate, take it, and put it behind you. Now, they're not looking at it going, but you don't understand, there's hair like that, there's hair. Like, it doesn't keep festering. But, so that was great, Anna, you did a good job on that. All right. Who wants to be next? Here you go.